Only two teams yesterday had Monday off in Major League Baseball. That was the Yankees and the Twins. So we had 28 of 30 MLB clubs in action, nearly ever so slightly a full slate on a Monday. And what a pitcher's duel it was in Atlanta. The 8th start of the year for Shota Imanaga, the starter for Chicago. And for the first time in those 8 starts for Imanaga, the Cubbies went down, but not because of Imanaga, who gave up 7 hits in 5 innings of work and still scoreless baseball to lower his ERA sub-1 once again. But still, not good enough to eke out a victory for the Cubs in the ATL. The Braves win 2-0 as Reynaldo Lopez on the other side, also a scoreless gem. Atlanta picks up a 2-0 victory as a home favorite. It was minus 142 on the money line, and DRS, a total that's closed at 8, never even came close.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, where even though with those weather conditions, like, a little bit cooler temperatures, some rain in the forecast, but 2 really good pitchers this season on the mound, and they didn't disappoint yesterday. Imanaga, a .96 ERA is what he lowered that to. That is outrageous here. You want to talk Cy Young? That's your Cy Young right now. But you take a look at the Atlanta Braves also eking out another victory here, not doing with their bats, but with pitching. And maybe it's time to check on that spider tack for Reynaldo Lopez, who was a guy that was basically fodder the past couple years, is filthy this year with a 1.34 ERA after going 5 innings pitched and no earned runs given up. You see that bullpen, which I've always liked for the Atlanta Braves, hold on for that victory here. 25-13, not going anywhere, and we're not even seeing the best of that Braves offense, but still able to be quality pitchers here like Imanaga.
The Braves were swept 2 weekends ago in Los Angeles, but from that point have really responded. They took 2 of 3 against the New York Mets this weekend. They win this series opener at home against the Chicago Cubs. When you look at ERA right now, DRS, across Major League Baseball, Imanaga, .96. Reynaldo Lopez, a 1.31. These are 2 of the best pitchers to start off this season in MLB. Imanaga had 8 Ks yesterday, but did have a long outing even in 5 innings, 98 pitches. Not his most efficient start, despite not giving up a single earned run. So in the battle for National League Rookie of the Year, it's really been between the 2 Japanese hurlers that have made their debut this year in Major League Baseball. Imanaga for Chicago, and on the other side, Yoshi Yamamoto for the LA Dodgers. Not the best start for Yamamoto yesterday, allowing 4 earned against the San Francisco Giants, but his Dodgers do rally up in the opener in the Bay. Mookie Betts led off the game with a home run for Los Angeles. Kike Hernandez tied it at 4-all in the 7th, and it was Will Smith, a 2 RBI double in extras. The Dodgers win 6-4 in 10.
You see how that helps? And also you saw Ohtani back into the lineup after that stiff back that he left, I believe, Saturday, missed Sunday's game. And we talked about this before, Ben. You take a look at Mookie Betts in that game. Home run, 2 for 5, up to 341. Obviously, Ohtani went 2 for 5 as well. But I talked about last week, Ohtani being in that 2-hole here. You can't pitch around Mookie Betts when he's there. You saw yesterday with Ohtani out of the lineup, they got shut out. You see today they score 6 runs. It's a little bit harder to pitch in that lineup with a dominant bat like Ohtani, who goes 2-0, gets that RBI and also goes 2-5. Liked what I saw of the Dodgers. You can't win every game in low-scoring battles. Nice to see a comeback victory yesterday with 2 in the 10th inning to ice that in extras.
And 4 of the top 5 odds in terms of National League Rookie of the Year hail from either the Cubs or the Dodgers. Imanaga from Chicago. Michael Busch from Chicago. Yamamoto and Pages, they are from L.A. Sandwiched in between is the hurler for Pittsburgh, Jared Jones. Not Paul Skeens. He's down there ever so slightly at 20-1. DRS, when all is said and done this year in the National League Rookie of the Year odds, do you think it's a race between Imanaga and Yamamoto?
It basically feels like it's a race between those 2, but just a race just to be healthy. We understand that these numbers are not going to stand up. A pitcher's not going to go through an entire Major League Baseball season with an ERA at 1. He's going to get shelled with some starts. And also, Ben, keep in mind this. Pitchers usually have the advantage first time through when a team's like, okay, never saw this guy before. He's got good stuff. Let me feel him out. Oh, okay, this is what he does well. Let's see him go around the second time around the National League to see if that holds up. That's when batters can usually get a grasp on these pitchers. But both of them have been very, very good to start. But Imanaga, absolutely tremendous. And also keep in mind, and basically half of his games, Ben, are going to come pitching at Wrigley Field. And he's got an under 1 ERA. That's incredible, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly is. DRS yesterday, dead even pick 'em in an opener in Arlington between two teams near the top of their division to start off this week. The Rangers in the weaker American League West to start. The Guardians still pacing the AL Central, but ever so slightly holding on. It was minus 108 for Texas, minus 108 on the other side for Cleveland, and it was scoreless through 7 innings yesterday. And then Cleveland broke through in the 8th and the 9th, scoring 4 in the 8th, 3 in the 9th to win 7-0 on the road over the Rangers. Again, it was a dead even money line pick 'em, and the total was 9. You probably thought you were sitting pretty for the first 7 frames. Then it got a little dicey, but the Guardians do pick up a road win.
Yeah, exactly. One team scores 7 runs, stays under 9.5. Doesn't make too much sense with Bybee and also Lorenzen on the mound. Keep pressure on Lorenzen here. 7 innings pitched, only 1 hit given up, no earned runs. Did walk 4 guys, but struck 4 out. Lowers his ERA to 3.75. Let's win for the Guardians on the road. We're waiting for the Texas Rangers to wake up as if it's like, okay, let's get back out there and see if we can win another championship. Just barely above 500 now.
When you look at those standings, it is not Texas in front in the American League West. It's the Seattle Mariners, but only 4 games above 500. Great pitching performance out of George Kirby last night in Seattle as the Mariners edge out the Royals 6-2.
Yeah, it was about expected there, and also taking a look at a game that was going to stay around that 7.5 to 8 number because why? It's a big ballpark to pitch in yesterday. Good win by Seattle, staying up top here. We're waiting again. Somebody's going to awaken in that division here to really take control. Let's see who it is over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, so when you look at Seattle, a big day for Rayleigh, 3 RBIs for him to lead the Mariners. Our guy, Vinny Pasquantino, the Pasquatch, did score. Your guy, Michael Massey, an RBI, I believe a 2 RBI double for the Kansas City Royals. We'll have plenty more around Major League Baseball on the other side of the break to look back on Monday with a full slate ahead on this Tuesday. We did have one postponement yesterday as well, so 13 games on a Monday. More coming your way on the early line next. Another strong pitchers duel yesterday in Baltimore between the starters, Jose Berrios for Toronto, Corbin Burnes for Baltimore. But later in the game, it was Varsho for the Blue Jays, leading them to a victory. They respond in a game where Adley Rutschman hit 2 home runs. Dalton Varsho hits a solo shot in the 8th to send it to extras, and then a fielder's choice put the game-winning RBI in the 10th as the Blue Jays win 3-2 on the road to open up this divisional duel during the midweek against the Orioles in 10.
Yeah, Berrios back there with a bounce-back effort after getting lit up by the Philadelphia Phillies. 7 innings pitched, only 2 earned runs given up. Corbin Burnes was really good, though, Ben. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned runs, 2.68 ERA for him now on the season. Now, you take a look at that final score, which easily stays under the total. That's what typically you get with 2 good pitchers. If you're unhappy with the Orioles' 2-run effort yesterday, just wait till today, baby. Why? Because those lefties are going to be smacking that baseball around the yard today. Get ready for a little preview later in the show. Tough look for the Royals last night. Won't be that tough tonight, I'll tell you that.
Listen, we're getting some RBI plays today from DRS. That I know. Another American League East divisional duel yesterday started in Boston inside Fenway. Worst start of the year for Cutter Crawford as the Rays go on the road as a very slight underdog inside Fenway and win 5-3. Cutter Crawford allowing 4 earned runs against Tampa yesterday, a victory for the Rays.
Yeah, I thought this game sort of played to the under, and it did. Stays under by half of a run, but you did have those interesting weather conditions where the wind was blowing out yesterday. Crawford, 6 innings pitched, 4 earned runs. Got to do a little bit better than that, but even with that outing, his ERA only raises to 2.24, which is tremendous. Zach Eflin on the road gave you a quality start, 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. His ERA now sits at 3.91. These are 2 teams that are probably going to be fighting for midway up the standings in the AL East all summer long, but Tampa pulls that one out 5-3. Close game here. Wasn't really loving this game all the way through with a slight lean towards the under, and it stayed under.
The Yanks back in action today. They're a minus 136 road moneyline favorite in Minnesota against the Twins, and the Yankees remain an odds-on favorite to win the American League East at minus 155. The Orioles, second best price at plus 150. Already, Donnie, the odds have this as a two-team race to win the American League East and that divisional crown. And maybe it makes sense. Boston, the only other team above 500, 21 and 20. Tampa, an even 500 at 21 and 21. The Jays, 3 games below 500 at 19 and 22. We expect 3, 4, maybe all 5 of these teams at certain points later this summer to be in contention for that postseason race.
Yes, and you know what's disappointing about this, too? We're not disappointed in the Yankees.
Yeah.
We thought they'd have a decent baseball team, even though coming out of spring training was a little wishy-washy. They performed very well here, and we're still waiting for those big bats to come alive. We love that Orioles lineup. We love the fact that they got Burns in the offseason. Those two teams should be at the top of the standings. But you take a look at the Toronto Blue Jays in that graphic, 21-1. That is so disappointing, man, because you take a look at the past 3 years of building, Ben, for what that franchise was supposed to be, spending money, sold-out crowds, revamping their home arena, and at the same time, you're like, what are we getting out of this? Where's the power at? Where's all the surprise? It's just not there right now. So that's the most disappointing thing right now in the AL East. Not the Boston Red Sox or Tampa for me. It's Toronto. They've had big expectations, just aren't performing.
Agree. The Jays plus 188 at this moment to make the American League postseason. There are 6 clubs that have a minus money price. Of course, the expanded MLB playoffs feature 6 teams in each league. One team not in minus money, but 7th best number. That's the Houston Astros. Make it 4 victories in their last 5 games for Houston. A victory at home yesterday against the A's, a 9-2 win for the Stros.
Yeah, clubbed them late. Scored 6 runs total in the 7th and the 8th inning. Yesterday, I liked a couple RBI props in this game. Rooker was my guy. Well, come on. You go 2 for 3. Somebody get on base, man. Somebody help the guy out at this point. So wasn't able to catch that. And also, I like the 3.5 team total for the Athletics, which should have come in. They got 9 hits in that game, which included late in the game. Here's what it hurt, too. Those doubles with 2 outs that don't score any runs with a runner on base, they will do you in every single time. But, hey, I thought Rooker was the play. Now hitting 303, 2 hits last night. That should get an RBI in the middle of the lineup. It just didn't. The A's go down to the Astros.
It should have, DRS. It really should have. Kyle Tucker continues to have a great early season for Houston. Leads all of the bigs in homers with 13. Another ribby yesterday. He is 29 so far in this year. So Houston's starting to find some life. Ever so slightly, still a large hole to drag themselves out of when you look at where they stand in the American League West. No longer in the cellar, though. That's the Angels, but still 9 games below 500 at 16 and 25. The Phillies, by the way, a winner in extras yesterday after Edwin Diaz blows a 2-run lead in the home half of the 9th.